You have a to-do list. You probably have several. A phone full of reminders, a calendar blocked into 30-minute increments, a running tally of things you didn't get done yesterday that spilled into today. And somewhere in the back of your mind, a quiet suspicion that you're still not doing enough. But here's the thing. The version of you that existed 200,000 years ago had no list, no calendar, no inbox. And according to decades of research, that version of you was working far, far less than you are right now. The real story of what ancient humans did all day is not what you've been told. And it changes everything you think about time, rest, and what your body is actually built for. Start with the assumption most people carry without knowing it. That ancient life was a constant, brutal struggle. That your ancestors woke up every morning on the edge of starvation, sprinting through forests, fighting off predators, surviving by the thinnest possible margin. That image feels true. It shows up in movies, in textbooks, in the word primitive. But anthropologists who have studied modern hunter-gatherer societies, the closest living parallel to how humans lived for most of our existence, tell a very different story. Marshall Salins was an anthropologist at the University of Chicago. In 1966, he introduced an idea at a landmark conference that rearranged the way researchers thought about early human life. He called it the original affluent society. His argument was simple and startling. Hunter-gatherers were not desperate. They worked, on average, 3 to 5 hours a day to meet all their needs. Food, shelter, the things required to live. 3 to 5 hours. Then they stopped. Not because they were lazy, because the work was done. Think about that number for a moment. 3 to 5 hours. Most people today spend that much time answering emails before lunch. What did ancient humans do with the rest of their time? The research is surprisingly consistent. They talked, they rested, they groomed one another, they told stories, they played games, made music, and sat together around fires for hours after dark. Anthropologists who spent time with the Kongsan people of the Kalahari in the 20th century noted that adults spent a significant portion of each day in what looked like effortless conversation. Not planning, not preparing, talking, laughing, doing what many modern people would call nothing, but it wasn't nothing. And that distinction matters more than almost anything else in this conversation. Robin Dunbar is an evolutionary psychologist at Oxford University. His work on social bonding and what's often called Dunbar's number, the cognitive limit on how many stable relationships a human brain can maintain, points to something your ancestors understood in practice without ever naming. Social connection is not a reward for finishing your work. It is the work. For most of human history, your ability to maintain strong bonds with the people around you determined whether you ate, whether you were protected, whether your children survived. The grooming, the conversation, the long evenings by the fire, all of that was the operating system of human survival.